I'm not
All
stupid.
right, we're live, and the first thing they hear is you saying that you're not stupid. So hopefully they believe you. Um,
Okay.
I just noticed my old logo is still in the in the corner here on the show. I mean, it's a fine logo, but I did replace it, so I guess I need to go back in the YouTube studio and replace that or something. But anyway, y'all, we are in the middle of, well, not the middle. We're at the beginning of the off season, but like it's the off season. Like there's nothing going on right now except apparently, after we came up with the idea for this episode, Debo Samuel allegedly, and I believe, has been confirmed to be traded to the Commanders. Is that right? Was it
Well, it's gonna be
confirmed?
confirmed March 12th.
Yeah, but the agreement was confirmed.
Well, yeah, but like he can't. Like I don't think he can go to Washington until March 12th.
Yeah, but if they've agreed, then I mean, it's obviously like either team could back out on it. We all remember what happened with Josh McDaniels and the Colts, right? But
Yeah.
but I would say if they're both allowing this to come out as like it has been like agreed to, I would say it's probably pretty certain that it's going to happen.
And also, Debo Samuel's not Josh McDaniels.
Well, okay, but Debo Samuel's not in the same position as Like Josh McDaniels could have done whatever he wanted. Debo doesn't have a choice, I don't think, unless he has a no trade clause, which he might. I don't think he does though.
Well, if he had no trade clause, then he probably wouldn't have got traded.
Well, no. So the way the no trade clause works is like you can like a team is not allowed to trade a player unless the player waives the no trade clause. So usually it's used by players to be like, okay, well if you trade me, I get veto power. So the
Well,
other the
yeah.
team can't trade the guy to somewhere he doesn't want to go.
Well, yeah. I know what a no trade clause is, but what I'm saying, like, if he did have a no trade clause, I think we would have heard about him waiving it, and not just him. Oh, you're in Washington now, buddy.
Well, right, right. I mean, that's a good point. I'm just saying that's about the only way that like he would have any say in this, which I don't think he does. Which I mean, like I don't know if I've ever heard of. I think it's probably happened, but I don't know if I've ever heard of someone who's not a quarterback having a no trade clause. I think
Derek
Tyreek
Carr is a
Hill.
no trade clause.
Well, he's a quarterback.
I know, but I'm still not happy about it.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. So plan today is we're going to go through and we're gonna try to predict the big move for every team this offseason. Some of these teams, I mean, predicting a big move is going to be an interesting challenge, but we're here for the challenge. So we might come up with some stupid stuff, but that's part of the fun.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure when we do, we'll hear all about it in the comments.
Yeah, that too.
All right, so let's start with the. I don't know. You want to go like alphabetically?
Okay.
All right, let's start with the
Well,
Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I guess I'll start with this one. I have this feeling that they're going to trade Kyler Murray.
okay.
I don't know. It feels like it feels like there's really no point in the Kyler Murray experiment in Arizona anymore. It's not that Kyler Murray's not potentially good or whatever, but it just feels like things have just like fallen so far off the rails in Arizona that getting them back on with Kyler Murray in tow is going to take way longer than it would really be realistic to just keep paying that guy for that whole time.
Hmm.
And you don't want to just lose him in free agency whenever I don't remember when his contract is up. We don't want to just like risk something like that. So
Kyler signed an extension like 2 years ago, so he's on contract for a while.
well, and that might be that might be um, that might actually be beneficial for trading purposes. Like a team like as much as I hate to say it, but like a team like the Steelers that could really use some stability at the quarterback position right now. having a guy like Kyler Murray locked up might be a good idea. Now, then again, maybe the Steelers would be a bad place for him to go to because they have had a really bad history over the last 10 years or so of like locker room cancers destroying their entire thing that they're trying to go for. And Kyler Murray hasn't exactly been known as like, this great rallying point for the team around him.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray definitely has his behavior issues. That's why I feel like he was in trade rumors for like the past 3 years now. I don't know. Do you think that you can get a quarterback better than Kyler Murray in like the draft, or do you go after Sam Darnold? Like, what do you do if you're the Cardinals?
Well, if you're the Cardinals, where are they drafting?
They're like, I don't know. I think they're in like the mid picks. Because they won like what 8 games this year. So yeah, they're probably in like they're probably in like the teens somewhere.
That's always a rough place to be because you can't really do anything big. Yeah, they're 16. Yeah. They're good. Good God, that's depressing. They're one spot ahead of the Bengals.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, they in theory, they could try to trade Kyler Murray for like trade Kyler Murray plus one of their draft picks for like a first round draft pick and maybe some good player or something like that.
They could trade Kyler to like the Giants and get like the 3rd pick and draft Shedeur or Cam Ward.
Yeah, to get the 3rd pick, it would require a lot though, right? Like,
well, yeah, I'm not saying Kyler Murray for the 3rd pick straight up. I'm saying like if they can make a trade happen, they can do that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, do you want to hear my answer now?
Yeah, go ahead and give me your bold prediction for the Cardinals.
So I'm not gonna this may be a hot take to some people, but it may not be. But I think they're gonna look at free agency and they're gonna look at their running back room and they're gonna be like, we do have James Conner now. James Conner is a good running back, but we need But if I was the Cardinals GM, whoever that is, I'll be like, what if we pair up a running back so it takes a little bit of the pressure off of James Conner? So if I was Arizona, I would go after Aaron Jones.
Do you think Aaron Jones would join the Cardinals though?
I mean, shoot, he joined Minnesota. I mean,
well, yeah, but it's like, Minnesota is like a halfway decent team.
But at that point, it was like they don't even have a quarterback because like no one knew how Sam Darnold was going to do. So it's like Aaron Jones. I feel like is Arizona's type of guy. I feel like it's going to be either Aaron Jones or Nick Chubb, but I narrowed it down to Aaron Jones because I feel like Arizona would want the guy like Aaron Jones because Nick Chubb still has that injury they're trying to deal with. So.
I have this sneaking suspicion that the Browns are going to re-sign Nick Chubb. Because I feel like he's going to test free agency and he's not really going to get the money he wants because of his injury history. And then the Browns are just going to end up re-signing him for like a team-friendly deal.
Yeah, that's why I also went with Aaron Jones. Because like the Vikings, like yes, Aaron Jones was a good running back, and that's why I think he's going to be probably the best running back on the market. Depending on who gets re-signed or whatnot. But I just feel like Arizona, they're in like a predicament where like James Cook, I think he's a good running back, but I feel like James Conner, I feel like is a good running back, but I feel like if you pair him with a guy like Aaron Jones, then that takes some of the pressure. It's like when Kareem Hunt went to Cleveland to join Nick Chubb, because like back then Nick Chubb was looked at as a top 5 running back in the NFL. So it's like Kareem Hunt, you don't gotta run for 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. You just got to be serviceable. And that's what I feel like James Conner would be if Aaron Jones joins Arizona. Because Aaron Jones, he's like 30, which I know is, he is 30, right? Let me see. Yeah, he's 30, which is in the age. Yeah, it is in the age group of the running backs. I'm not saying you give Aaron Jones like a 5-year, $75 million deal, but what I'm saying is like for a 1 or 2 year deal, Aaron Jones stopgap in Arizona could be pretty solid for the Arizona Cardinals. That's
fair enough. All right. So I'm saying they trade Kyler Murray. You're saying they sign Aaron Jones, and I wouldn't be shocked if both of those things happen. Honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so next team then. I think you know who it is, Mikey. I'll let you introduce them.
The choke artists themselves. Atlanta Falcons, huh?
The people who, for some reason, continue to give Kirk Cousins stupid amounts of money only to just replace him. Like before he even stepped on the field. Like, what are you guys doing? Like,
And
like
then they drafted their franchise quarterback anyway.
I know. Like, what was the point of giving Kirk all that money? Like, I don't.
And
I
now they're about to
honestly don't
release
get it.
Kirk. And now they're
Like,
talking about releasing Kirk.
yeah, I mean, maybe they were hoping that they could get like an Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love type of situation going on, but like that's not what that's Kirk Cousins, not Aaron Rodgers.
It's so funny. They were 6-3, right? They were 6-3, and everybody was like, "Oh, Atlanta, they might, man, they're going to the playoffs. Tampa Bay's falling off a cliff. The Saints falling off a cliff. Carolina never had a cliff to fall off of." But then they played the Saints with a rookie head coach and got the bricks beaten out of them, and then they lost like what, 4, 5, 6. It was like 4 straight games, and then they missed the playoffs after that because they couldn't beat the Panthers. Okay,
I
yeah. So
I think I'm starting to come around. The more I hear Raheem Morris talk, the more I'm starting to come around to your perspective on him. He does kind of suck.
yeah, bro. Like this, like what is it with coaches not knowing how to call timeouts, dude? Like Raheem Morris did that twice last year. Because if you don't remember when he played the Saints in Week 10, I know a lot of people weren't watching that game because who wants to watch a game between the Falcons and the Saints? But in Week 10, obviously I was watching. It was like what was it? It was like third down. Kirk Cousins threw a pass to Kyle Pitts, and there's like 30 seconds left, so the Saints left them open so they can make an open field tackle. So now it's 4th and 4. There was like 25 seconds on the clock, and their fourth down play was the last play of the game. And then obviously the Washington game, he had a case where it's like, okay, if you get a field goal, you can win. But he took all the clock off to the point where they couldn't get an easier field goal than what, a 56-yard or whatever it was. Yeah.
So, what big move do you think they're gonna make?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they go offensive line, and I understand offensive line is not the sexy move, but if I'm being non-biased and not saying that they trade for a damn punter, I think their big move, I think, will be getting an offensive tackle, because I feel like whether you start Kirk or Penix, they need protection. And one thing that Atlanta's been, well, one of the 1,000 things Atlanta's been poor on the past few years was that offensive line play. So I think they get Ronnie Stanley from Baltimore. I think they pull him out of the free agency thing.
You think the Ravens let Ronnie Stanley walk?
I mean, everybody's talking about him not being in Baltimore next year. So
That seems. I guess I don't know. It just seems kind of silly to me.
well, I'm just saying if he's available, because I'm just looking at the free agency list. So like, if he's available, I think they go get him.
All right. So I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't think the Falcons are going to do anything majorly crazy this offseason.
They won't. They won't.
I mean, I think they got slammed so bad for Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. I think they're going to lay low a little bit. But I mean, if I had to pick something like weird, I think they're going to probably try to trade for somebody like Martin Emerson or Jair Alexander, like shore up that secondary.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Like AJ Terrell, I've been saying it for a while. AJ Terrell is now the number one corner.
I think he could be, but you got to have more than just him though.
Like that, like AJ Terrell. It's like this dude, and I'm not gonna lie, I was high on him coming out of Clemson too, but watching him over and over get torched, like dude, this man in 2022 Week 1 Saints Falcons, this man got torched by a one-need Michael Thomas for 2 touchdowns, which ended up winning us the game. This man got torched by a Michael Thomas that was not in his prime, a Michael Thomas that had Jameis Winston throwing him the ball, and a Michael Thomas that had no knees. And this man got torched by man. And I was watching that game, and I'm like, bro, this man kind of sucks, and I ain't gonna lie. And I'm not trying to be biased when I say this, but AJ Terrell's is not it, fam. Like, AJ Terrell might go into my freaking Jalen Ramsey category at this point.
All right. Baltimore Ravens. What do you think? What do you think is a big crazy move they're gonna make?
Well, Baltimore, there's lots of stuff they could do. However, I have them pulling off a trade. Okay, I have them trading away Mark Andrews. I think he's getting traded.
Okay.
I think they're going to trade Mark Andrews, and then they're going to try to commit to Isaiah Likely. And no, it has nothing to do with the drop against Buffalo. That even if he caught that ball, I still feel like this because this past couple of years he's not been the All-Pro Mark Andrews. So I think they trade Mark Andrews for whatever they like. I think they can get maybe a third or a fourth for Andrews if a team's really desperate for a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, even if they get, like, a fifth-round pick, I think they trade Mark Andrews and then they invest in Isaiah Likely. And then they maybe draft another tight end to put behind Likely and do what they did when they drafted Likely. That's why I think. I think they're trading away Isaiah Likely this season or this offseason.
All right. So interestingly enough, my prediction is actually also about Mark Andrews, but I'm going to take it a step further. I think they cut Mark Andrews because I don't think that his trade value is super high right now because he is like he's almost 30 and his production this past year definitely was kind of on the decline and the year before wasn't the Mark Andrews you're used to either. Now before that it was pretty good, but you've kind of been seeing this progression of Mark Andrews just not being the old Mark Andrews, right? So I think Baltimore definitely wants to get rid of him, and like with Isaiah Likely coming on, but I don't think that they're going to get the kind of compensation they want for Mark Andrews. So I think they're going to cut him, and if they do that before June 1st, then they save $11 million on the cap, and I think that's just that's like it seems insane to me that they would keep him around when he's been playing like he's been playing, and he's taking up $11 million of the cap.
Yeah, I just like even if he caught everybody's like trade him because of that Buffalo game, and look, even if he caught that 2-point try, I still would say move off of him because like when was the last time Mark Andrews made a play where it's like, oh, he's a top 3 tight end in the NFL? When's the last
about 2 years ago?
Exactly, like 2 years ago. Like, and the NFL is not the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. Okay, it's not what have you done for me 2 years ago league. Like Mark Andrews, I still think he's a good tight end. I still think he can be productive, but Lamar Jackson, he's not a guy that really feeds. Like he feeds tight ends. Clearly, that's why Likely and Andrews has been good. But with Derrick Henry coming to Baltimore and them drafting receivers, Mark Andrews, I feel like it's just gonna fall all the way off at this point. So
Yeah.
I think you cut him, you trade him, whatever you do with them. I think get rid of Andrews, and I think that's what Baltimore does.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I say I think they're going to cut him because I don't think anybody's going to be willing to trade for him when they know that Baltimore's got to get rid of him. And I don't think he's good enough for anybody to get in a bidding war over him.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so let's move on to the next team. After the Baltimore Ravens, that is the Buffalo Bills.
Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bills. I think they're gonna draft. Now here I'm gonna talk about them making a draft move. I think they draft I think they draft an offensive guard to protect Josh Allen.
All right.
Because like I said, the offensive line is not the sexiest moves, but offensive linemen matter. Right. So like it's like the Bills, they need a lot of things if they're gonna get past the Chiefs, mainly the Chiefs. But I mean, like, do you really want to it's like Okay, so hear me out, right? You draft an offensive guard. I think they're going to draft Tyler Booker, offensive guard from Alabama, because they have Deion Dawkins on that left side,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you get Tyler Booker, who can develop into a good starting guard, you got Deion Dawkins and Tyler Booker, plus you got Mitch Morse at center.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a pretty good offensive line. And then with Josh Allen's play style, Josh Allen needs all the time in the world because he likes to run out the pocket a lot. And you need an offensive lineman to help Josh Allen run out the pocket. So I think I think they draft Tyler Booker out of the draft. That's my pick for Buffalo.
Okay. I don't have anything crazy to say for Buffalo. I think I feel like they're probably, and again, this isn't crazy. This isn't big huge prediction, but I think they're going to restructure Josh Allen's contract. It's just like, I mean, he's getting into the real big like heavy meat of how insane his contract was, and I think the Bills know that if they are going to be a serious contender going forward, they're going to need to bring in some talent. And it's going to be hard to do that when you're paying when Josh Allen's accounting for $44 million of your cap.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I can see that too. But
I think
we'll
that
see.
I'm thinking that restructure is probably going to come sometime within the next month at the very least.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh, the Carolina Panthers. Okay, this could be considered a hot take as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think the Panthers cut Miles Sanders
Why?
because what the heck does that man do?
I mean, I guess.
Like I said, give Chuba Hubbard the #1 role and deal with it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, they're not paying him like an insane amount of money. Like, and I mean, he's
Exactly. So I mean, they cut him.
well, yeah, but I don't know. I think they keep him around. As I mean, they might have like Chuba Hubbard be their #1 and like kind of switch the roles.
And they can draft somebody. Like, bro, Miles Sanders is not good. Like, the only reason he got the contract he did is because he had a career year in Philly. And at this point, which running back does not have a career year in Philly? Like, Miles Sanders is not good whatsoever. I kept saying it, like, really since he got to Carolina. Like, this man was literally gonna be like how Reggie Bush did when he went to the Bills. Like, just a guy where it's like, can you please just kill me at that point?
I wouldn't mind seeing him in Cincinnati.
Oh, you do that. You choose that life. I don't
Well, I mean,
control
we
what you
got first of
feel.
all we got Chase Brown. Like, I'm not saying I want Miles Sanders to be our starting running back. We're good with Chase Brown, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, as far as the #2 goes, like I don't, you know, and we haven't gotten to the Bengals yet, so I'm not going to talk too much about the Bengals just yet. But like, I don't know if Zach Moss is long for this world, or
Yeah.
at least this team.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean,
so next up we got the Chicago Bears. Oh wait,
well, you
did
ain't
I make?
say
Yeah, I didn't make a prediction about the Panthers. I don't care about the
you
Panthers.
said-
Do you care about the Panthers? I don't care about the
I don't. I've never cared about the Panthers. I do
Panthers.
when they lose though.
Right. I don't know. I think the Panthers trade down in the draft. Is that a crazy
Okay.
thing to say? I don't think that there's, you know, I think that they know that they could benefit from more like solid talent than, you know, throwing all their chips in one basket right now. So I think they're going to trade down and maybe try to get like another first round pick.
Okay.
And I will say,
Um.
if one of those quarterbacks drops, I think I almost guarantee the Panthers trade down.
Okay.
So, all right. So next up, then the Chicago Bears.
Oof. The Chicago Bears. I mean, the Bears. They could do a lot of things, but this could be a hot take. I wouldn't be so shocked if the Chicago Bears go ahead and try to see if they could trade for Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. What makes you think they're going to
Yeah,
get
I
Myles
wouldn't.
Garrett?
I'm not like. I think that the Bears are in a weird position where it's like they could be winners. Like they have a good team. It's just that coaching was once again the issue. So I feel like if the Bears really wanted to pursue Myles Garrett,
But
like give the Browns a couple first round picks, then I think they could do that.
I don't think the Browns are going to trade Myles Garrett.
I mean, shoot.
I mean,
At
like, I
this
know he
point,
wants to be traded, but I don't think they're going to give it to him.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. Well, that's why it's a prediction, and we'll see what happens.
I think that the Bears are. Let's see. I think that the Bears are going to draft Jalen Milroe in the third round, and they're going to set the world, the NFL world, on fire. Everybody's
I
going to
mean,
be like,
I feel like Milroe could be good in like a Taysom Hill role.
yeah, maybe I don't know, but like I mean, maybe even the second round. Honestly, like I think they're gonna like throw a high draft pick at a quarterback. And it's not like an anti Caleb Williams thing. It's more of a Bears dumb thing.
I
You know,
mean,
kind of like the
I have
Falcons with
Milroe.
Michael Penix.
I have Milroe as like a third round grade for me. Like probably even a third round talent for me, dude. Like,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like I think the Bears are gonna like draft him in like the maybe even the second round.
this is not an anti-Alabama sentiment by me. I just don't like Jalen Miller. I've said it for like like when did he start playing for Bama? I don't know. Like even in Bryce Young's final year, when Miller played a little bit, when Bryce Young dealt with injuries and stuff, I just did not see the hype around Milroe. And then even last year, he had a four. It's weird. He played against LSU, and me being a big LSU fan, he played against LSU last year, obviously because Bama LSU. He had four rushing touchdowns, and then everybody was like, "Oh, Jalen Milroe, the best quarterback in this draft." And then I'm like, dude, he did that against the LSU defense. You know how bad our defense is? God,
Yeah,
bro,
I
I could
I,
run for four touchdowns against LSU.
I don't know how bad the LSU defense was, but um, I do know that
Huh.
Jalen Milroe is probably a little overhyped, but definitely has plenty of hype. So I could see a team like the Bears just, feeling like they think it's a smart idea to double down, and then they're going to realize real quick it's not a smart idea. But I got this weird feeling they're going to do it.
Shoot, I mean they did draft the punter,
Mm. So,
like,
well,
but they had like what
we
three draft picks, and one of them was used on the punter.
we drafted a punter.
Yeah, but you didn't have only 3 or 4 draft
That's
picks.
fair. Okay, all right. So, speaking
My
speaking
favorite
of
part.
which, next up is the Bengals.
Oof, Kyle, do you want to take this one first?
Um, it's gonna be hard for me to say anything definitively. I mean, the Bengals aren't exactly known for making big offseason moves, you know? I think I've got this feeling that the Bengals are going to try to sign like a big name cornerback in free agency, which is part of why they're being so like weird about these contracts. So, like I do think that they're going to get both Trey Hendrickson and T Higgins locked up under contracts. But I do think that they're going to end up losing some guys like Mike Hilton and depending on if Joe Burrow decides to restructure his contract or not. Um, but I think they're going to go after like I'm not saying they're going to get him, but I think they're going to go after a guy like DJ Reed.
Okay. Um, I could see that happening too. However, my thing that I think they're gonna do. So, Kyle, you were saying of how the Bengals had no pass rush other than Trey Hendrickson.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I think, hold on, if I can find somebody here real quick. I think the Cincinnati Bengals, I think they're going to not make like a big time trade, but I think, okay, if this thing would pull up, I think the Bengals have a lot of draft capital to the point where I think the Cincinnati Bengals, I think they trade for. I understand he may be out of his prime. What about if the Bengals trade for Zadarius Smith?
No. What Zadarius Smith? Doesn't like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, Zadarius Smith, dude.
Who does he play for? Oh, he plays for the
Detroit Lions,
Lions.
but
For some reason, I thought he was still with the Browns. Um, I mean, maybe I don't know. It seems he seems. I don't. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what I think about it. I don't think the Bengals would do it. The Bengals are like over the last decade or so, the Bengals have kind of been in a like, they don't really like old people role. Like, pretty much anybody who's over 27, they don't want to invest in. So I don't see them trading for a 32-year-old um, defensive end.
I'm just saying, like, if the Bengals actually want to do it, I think, you give the Lions a fifth or a sixth, and I think Zadarius Smith is all yours.
I mean, I'd do it. I would do it for that. I don't know if the Bengals would though. That's the thing.
We'll see.
All right. So let's do about like five more, and then we can we can like like this can be like a series that we keep doing since there's going to be a lot of dead weeks during the off season.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah. Okay. So you think they're going to trade for Zadarius Smith? Is that your big one there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the Cleveland Browns then.
Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns. I think the Browns. Okay,
Uh-huh.
this could be a hot take, but I think the Browns trade for another first round pick in like the later part of the draft, and they use that pick to take Jalen Walker.
Jalen Walker.
Yeah, linebacker from Georgia.
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah, well,
because Jalen Walker's
I'm
been.
just trying to think of like if that'd be a good idea for them or not. It feels like a lot for a linebacker.
I mean, yeah, but it's like shoot. I feel like if Walker starts falling a bit, because like if you pair him with like a Jeremiah Usu-Koromo, if you pair him with him, I think that could be a sneaky solid linebacker duo. Because like
If
if you
Jalen
like the
Walker
defense of
falls,
Cleveland's good.
if Jalen Walker falls, they'll just get him in the second round.
I understand, but like if you feel like a team like if you feel like a team could take them in the first, you could trade like your second round pick because it's going to be a high second round pick
Mm-hmm.
if they have the second overall pick in the draft. So it's most likely going to be a high second round pick. So you can trade that pick and maybe I don't know, a fourth or a fifth, and you can get Jalen Walker, and then you can pair him with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right. So I think that the Browns are going to. I gotta. Thomas, if you're watching, please don't hate me or kill me. But I think the Browns are going to trade their pick to the Raiders.
Bam!
And I think the Raiders are going to take a quarterback. Probably, I'm guessing. I'm thinking probably Shadur Sanders. With the number two, and then the Browns are going to trade down. I think they're going to take Ashton Genty.
Why?
Because they need a running back.
But The Browns take Genty?
Yeah.
But what about Nick Chubb?
Weren't you just talking about Nick Chubb going somewhere else?
But you also said that you think that Browns are going to resign Nick Chubb.
Yeah, the Browns are stupid.
Okay.
Okay, but it's not just that. Like again, you like remember when I said the Browns are they're gonna re-sign Nick Chubb to a long-term contract, but they're gonna get him like relatively on the cheap because he's gonna go test free agency and it's not gonna work out for him. So he's just gonna end up settling for a maybe not a long-term contract with Cleveland. It might be just like a couple years or something like that. But I think they'll bring Nick Chubb back because he's kind of a fan favorite. But I also think that they're going to have a perspective on the future, and they're going to take Ashton Genty to be like their guy of the future.
Okay. I mean, I was hearing a lot of people saying the Saints should take Genty, and I wanted to throw anything I could see at him.
Well, it worked out for the taking a running back that high worked out for the Lions. So maybe my theory is
that was the guy I wanted.
Yeah, well, it's the guy a lot of people wanted. To be fair.
Man, the 2023 draft, dude, like, I don't know if you remember, but the two guys I wanted both got taken. Man, Jahmyr Gibbs and then freaking Don Kincaid. Man, I wanted to.
All right, Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, the Dallas Cowboys, you say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They're not really a big spender, so I think they re-sign Osa Odigizua. I think they re-sign him to a long-term deal.
You think so? I've been hearing everybody absolutely certain that he's on his way out.
Well, if he's on the way out, like Dallas, they don't really go all in, even though that's what Jerry Jones be saying. So it's like I say I think they bring him back because it's like, do you really think you're gonna find I think there are defensive tackles better than Osa coming out in the draft, but it's like you can sign them to a deal and then you see because Osa had a good year, so I'm just like even if it's like a 2-year contract, I think it would be worth it.
Okay. So, the Cowboys. Now you're gonna have to stick with me on this one, okay?
Are you gonna say that they're gonna trade Michael Parsons for 2 first-round picks?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what they're gonna get for him, but I do think they're gonna trade Micah Parsons, and I do think that they're going to get like a king's ransom for him, and I think that they could trade him to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think they could end up getting the number 5 overall pick. And I think if the cards fall right, they could take Cam Ward.
Cam Ward?
Cam Ward.
Maybe.
And, basically firing a shot off the bow that Dak's time is about up.
But Dak's time's been up for 2 years now.
Well, yeah, but they haven't done anything about it.
I know, because they're stupid.
Well, yeah.
Because they probably think that 1996 was got thing last year.
I was 4 years old.
And I was nowhere close to being on this earth.
Yeah. It's fair. All right. Okay. So, Denver Broncos.
Ooh, the Broncos? You mean the Horsies?
The Horsies, the ponies.
Denver, I think Denver could. I think
somebody sounds like they're
Javon
dying in the background there.
What?
Sounds like somebody's dying in the background there.
I'm walking my dog. Sorry. He's walking the dog that I was talking about earlier.
Those dogs must have had a big problem with that.
Bruh, look, if you lived at my house, you would want to jump off a cliff too, okay?
Okay.
But I think Denver. I think they go ahead and they sign Javon Holland.
You think that I could see that? They seem like a team that would be. I want Javon Holland personally, but we're not going to get him.
The Saints ain't going to sign nobody. At least nobody of a significant name. So I draw. If there's a big name guy, just draw. Bro, I heard somebody say we can go get the Talona Hufanga from 49ers. And I'm like, with what money, dude? Like, don't get me wrong. In the next 2 years, the Saints actually got lots of cap space. But not this year, dude. No.
I think
But yeah,
the
I think they signed Javon Holland and they pair him in that secondary with guys like Patrick Surtain, who just won Defensive Player of the Year, and guys like that, so they can have like this great defense.
okay. I think they trade for George Pickens.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. And it'd be interesting because like it feels like they've had so many resources at wide receiver over the years and it hasn't helped too much. But it kind of feels like a John Elway thing to do.
Okay. I totally forgot John Elway worked with Denver.
Well yeah, he's the legendary Hall of Fame quarterback from Denver.
Well, I know that, but I thought he was still retired. I forgot that he was like management in there.
Oh yeah, he's their general manager. Basically, like I mean, like he doesn't own the team, but he's way more notable with the team than any owner they've ever had before. Like John Elway's the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do one more, and then I think we'll go ahead and put a pause on it for the night, and next week we'll come back and we'll do some more teams. But the Detroit Lions is who we're gonna leave off on.
Detroit Lions. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the Lions could trade for Michael Mayer and put him in the same tight end room as Sam Laporta.
That seems crazy. Like this is the same Lions team that traded away T.J. Hawkinson. Could have had T.J. Hawkinson and Sam Laporta.
Well, yes.
Like, can you imagine that tight end room, dude?
Yeah. I don't know if Laporta would have been great playing second fiddle though. So.
Well, I mean, based on the season that T.J. Hawkinson had with the Vikings, I wouldn't be shocked if Laporta would have taken over the first string role.
Maybe. But yeah, I think they could trade for Michael Mayer because like Laporta, he had a down year, but I think Laporta still has talent. So I think you pair him with Michael Mayer. Not only does it like kind of boost Laporta's confidence, in my opinion, because like you get two guys from the same draft. Like I think that would just be so funny, and because the Lions. Well, I don't know who came first, Mayer or Laporta, but I think it could work well. You know, I think it could have been just like a T.J. Hawkinson and a Michael Mayer role, because like a lot of people are saying they could trade Mayer now that the Raiders like their full plan is Brock Bowers, and they're gonna live by Brock and die by Brock. And if you disagree with them, then they will probably come to your home and probably steal everything that you own. So I think the Raiders, I think they traded away Michael Mayer. They could get maybe a fourth for Michael Mayer from Detroit, and I think hey, Lions they have a solid tight end room now that they lost when they traded away Hawkinson to Minnesota.
If they're trading away Michael Mayer for a fourth, I could put in a call to Mike Brown and see if he could, because like yes please, that would be incredible.
Okay.
That'd be an insane, like, for a fourth round pick. You got to be out of your mind. Like I'd be sprinting to the phone. Like he's a damn good player. I mean, I know Brock Bowers is better, but it seems weird to me that they want to, get rid of him, but whatever.
I mean, they are That's why I said it because there's reports that I saw earlier that the Raiders are looking at trading Michael Mayer.
Oh. And you think the Lions are going to pick him up?
Yeah, I do. I think he would fit perfectly in Detroit's offense.
Yeah. I think the Lions are going to trade away DJ Reader.
Why do I feel like you're saying that out of spite?
I'm not. I like DJ Reader, but I will say it would be to be fair, to potentially show my bias a little bit. But it would be quite vindicating to all the Bengals fans who just lost their fucking minds over that and spent all year we should have kept DJ Reader even though he was hurt in a bunch of the games and didn't have it definitely had his worst season of his entire career in Detroit. And, I mean he got 3 sacks, but okay. But that's kind of my point though. DJ Reader was a $5 million cap hit for the Lions last year, but this year it's going to be a $13 million cap hit. I wouldn't even be shocked if they cut him.
Yeah, I mean,
because he didn't live up to that contract.
Yeah, but what would you get out of DJ Reader? Bro, I was watching something earlier where it's so you know who Luka Doncic is, right?
Sure.
Well, you know how he got traded to the Lakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was watching this video where it's because you know how Mahomes lost the Super Bowl, so it's not really relating to what we're talking about, but I gotta get this off. So, where the Mavericks, they're in the room and they're like, "Oh, your superstar just lost the championship game. Looks like you gotta trade him for a half a draft pick and a single free throw." What if they do that with DJ Reader? What if they get a single free throw and half a draft pick for anybody for DJ Reader? What who would win that trade?
DJ Reader's a pretty good player, so probably whoever gets DJ Reader, I think, would win that trade. That'd be kind of silly. I think.
I know Fritos are good.
Do what?
Fritos are good.
They're okay. But no, I think DJ Reader could potentially be a benefit to another team, but I think the Lions, it's a lot of money to commit to a guy who, was on the field, but didn't really do a whole lot on the field, especially for the kind of money that you're going to be potentially paying him next season. So I don't think they would cut him if it came down to it, but they could. They could. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that might be more realistic than trading him, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't, because I think they'd much rather trade him. I don't think they're gonna get a 3rd round pick. They're gonna get a 5th or a 6th or something like that. But I think they'd take it for not having to pay the contract.
Yeah, I think I've been playing Madden too much to the point where it's whenever you trade superstars and you hit the request the trade button, they offer you 1st round picks and 95 overall superstars. So whenever I see for example when Debo was saying we got traded for 5th round pick, I'm like, what? Because I'm so used to seeing guys get traded for a lot. Man, maybe I should stop playing Madden for a while.
Well,
it's affecting my brain.
See, the thing about Madden is Madden doesn't take a lot of different elements into account. Madden A doesn't take the human player element into account. It doesn't there's just it takes into account how players feel about a team and stuff. It's good at simulating business, but it's not good at simulating human emotions and stuff like that. And then from a team perspective, it doesn't really take into account as much. It has some adjustment for contracts and how contracts affect trade deals and stuff like that, and also how the demeanor of the player and stuff like that. And there's trading in the NFL is such a complicated ass business, and Madden boils it down to a few different formulas. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
never gonna get anything realistic out of Madden.
Yeah, but it's weird because like in Madden, look, I don't mean to offend you, but in Madden you can trade Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and Trey Hendrickson to the Chiefs for Mahomes, and that trade wouldn't even go halfway through
Okay,
sometimes.
you fuck off right now. You definitely meant to offend me. You could have picked anybody else in the NFL, but you chose those three and that team because you meant to offend me.
No, that's literally the trade that everybody tries doing in Madden, and for some reason, like Mahomes is like untouchable in Madden. Like those are like the three players everybody, because like the Bengals have like three of the best players in the game, so it's like they tried doing that trade and it hardly goes through. Like sometimes it will be in the yellow if it's a good day.
If it's a good day. All right.
Or well, sometimes I've seen sometimes the trade goes through, but if Madden's trying to be complicated, it won't go through.
All right then. All right. Well, yeah, that's it for today. Then I think we'll pick up with the Packers next week. But you got anything else you want to say before we head out?
Can Mickey Loomis get fired today into the sun?
That'd be an interesting. Well, first, isn't he the owner?
No, he's the general
Yeah,
manager. Even though he
that's what I
feels
meant.
like the owner.
That's what I meant. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, do you? I mean, I understand, but like, do you really want to fire your general manager like right as the off season's kind of getting started? Like, wouldn't you rather either do that? Wouldn't you rather either do that before it all kind of gets started or after? Like doing it in the middle, you're just sabotaging your whole season.
Bro, our season's already sabotaged, dude.
Well, okay, I guess if that's your perspective, you do whatever you want, but
There's no unsabotaging the season. Like, bro, I could be wrong. The Saints could be in the goddamn Super Bowl next year, but let's be honest, they're not. Like, look. If the Saints are in the Super Bowl next year, Mickey Loomis can have my full support. But they're not going to. I don't know. Mickey Loomis is going to be feeding us this line of bull crap, saying, "Oh, Derek Carr's the guy we can win with." Kellen Moore. Look, I love Kellen Moore too, but Kellen Moore is going to be able to turn this ship around in 1 year. The fans aren't distracting me. Drew Brees and Derek Carr are the same person. Like, man, I'm tired of Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis was like an icon in New Orleans, but you know what they say? You live long enough to become the villain.
okay, all right. Well, we're gonna. I think after that salient advice, we're gonna go ahead and head out of here. So we'll see y'all next week. I'll leave y'all as always with a hoo day.